Okay, so Aristotle said that dramatic action is organized on six levels: plot, character, thought, diction, music, and spectacle. Now, starting with plot, I'm sure by now you've experienced the climactic plot structure, that rising action, falling action diagram that is can be applied to novels and short stories. We use the same thing in theater, only it's a little more detailed. If we talk about plot, we are talking about the story. This is the story. In a climactic plot structure, the story has a linear structure. A happens, causing B to happen, causing C to happen. By comparison, the other plot structure, and the less common, the episodic plot structure, doesn't follow a linear path. The story goes all over the place. Typically, in a episodic plot structure, the story follows one character, and the character shares the story through experiences. Now, these experiences don't have to happen in order. They can be from the past, the recent past, the distant past. We can come back to the present day, but information is revealed in that way. The episodic plot structure does build eventually, or at least have a climax, but it doesn't build the way the climactic plot structure does. So let's start talking about the most common type of plot, and that is the climactic plot structure. The plot of a play has three parts. What are they? Very simple: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Specific things happen at the beginning of the play, certain things happen in the middle of the play, and we can expect things to happen at the end of the play. When a play starts, the playwright decides how he will share information with the reader or the audience, right? Now, Shakespeare introduces us to characters, and we find out about these characters as the story progresses. We are introduced to them, and all of a sudden we are thrown into their lives, and we find out what's happening through that. In other plays, a great deal of exposition is required before the action actually starts taking hold. Exposition is the setting forth of information. Now, in some cases, exposition starts or happens before what is known as the point of attack. The point of attack is the point at which the play begins, the story begins. Take, for example, and we will discuss this play in depth, Oedipus Rex. The beginning of the play features a long speech by a priest who gives us all of the information that we need to know about what's happening at this point. From that point, the play starts. It moves forward. Exposition is the setting forth of information. And usually it happens through dialogue between characters. The play starts, a character is introduced, another character enters the scene. They have a conversation. During that conversation, we are introduced to the circumstances. Who are they? Where are we? What is going on? What's happening in the scene? All of this is handled through dialogue. This is exposition. So the story starts moving forward. As it moves forward, something is going to happen. And that will set the plot in motion. This is called the inciting incident. Let's use Hamlet for an example. We will discuss Hamlet in depth in about a week or two or three. In Hamlet, the inciting incident is during the encounter with Hamlet, between Hamlet rather, and his father's ghost. In that speech, in that scene, Hamlet's father's ghost says to Hamlet, "You must avenge my murder. You must prove that your uncle murdered me." Hamlet says, "I will." That sets the plot in motion. Everything that happens from that point forward is all about Hamlet doing just that. Now, the journey from the inciting incident to the climax is filled with all sorts of things. Discoveries, information, more information is revealed. Complications. Things happen during the play that throw us off course as we are trying to move toward the climax. Things will also be introduced. Exposition doesn't always stop at the beginning of the play. You can make discoveries. Information can be revealed at any point during the rising action as we are moving toward the climax. The climax, of course, is the point of highest intensity in the play. Some climactic scenes are big, they are major, and they are definite climaxes. In the plays that we are going to discuss early on, the climactic scene of A Doll's House is major. The climactic scene of Hamlet, on the other hand, if we consider that satisfying what happened in the inciting incident, if we are saying that Hamlet has to prove that his uncle killed his father, he accomplishes that during the scene with the players, during that stage play that he puts on. He observes his uncle's behavior, and that confirms for him that his uncle killed his father. That's the climactic scene of that. Going backwards, when we talk about Oedipus Rex, the realization that dawns on, finally, on Oedipus Rex, that he indeed is the man that he is looking for, is powerful. It's what happens after that that actually creates climax. I'll be back.